Simpson, and welcome to Ask Christy. I have a few tips today about making your children's choir the best it can be. Something else that is key is positive reinforcement. This is probably my biggest message to you, probably, aside from the pacing. Positive reinforcement. I never, ever have to yell at anybody, ever. I never have to get mad at anybody, ever. And as any teacher knows, you just have to, get your ground rules going early, and then you can maintain what you have. So at the beginning of any rehearsal period, or if it seems like there's a lot of new people, I'll say, I just want to remind you of our guidelines for kids choir. There's not many. One is that, and really my only guideline is that they don't talk, but I put a few more in so it looks like we have guidelines. So one is that you sit up nice and straight in your chairs. Two is that you smile really big. Oh, that's nice. And three is that you don't talk when someone else is talking. So you don't talk while I'm talking, and I won't talk when you're singing a solo. That's just a respect thing, but of course you already know that. Okay, so those are our guidelines. So just breeze on past it. Not a big deal, but you let them know ahead of time. Too often, we do not make our expectations known. And yes, people should know that it's rude to stand up and scream in the middle of something, but if you haven't told them, it's just hard to enforce. It's frustrating, like, don't you know you're not supposed to be rude? Well, yes, but sometimes they don't, and it's just easier if you tell them ahead of time. By the way, we don't do this, and we like it when you do this. It's just easier. So then you don't have to be frustrated and upset. Like, I cannot believe you would be, laughing while that girl is singing a solo. You can get offended by that, or you can realize they don't know. They're just kids. They have no idea. Or they're being weird, But if you tell them ahead of time, so what I'll say is I'll give them that thing, don't talk, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll say, and if for some reason some of you are kind of chatty and you are popular, I know you have so much fun. Sometimes that happens to me and I talk too much. So if I talk too much, sometimes I have to be away from my friends, and I know that. So don't worry, but if for some reason you're having a hard time talking with your neighbor, I might just ask you to go sit over there. But don't worry, it doesn't mean I don't like you. It's just to help us out. So it'll help you learn and it'll help them learn. And then after a while you can come back. No big deal. So just make it a little thing. But then you have that safety net. So the second somebody is being too chatty, which won't happen much once you've told them, but if it does, then you just say, Nathaniel, will you please go sit over there? Thank you. And you keep going. No big deal. And then I make sure I compliment him later. The second he's singing good, I'll say, Nathaniel, that's amazing. Put your name in the jar, So you just watch out for those things. But it rarely happens. But that's kind of a last resort. I don't move kids very often. Like maybe, did I even move anyone this season? No. Last season I maybe moved somebody twice. No big deal. And then they know you're not mad. Just, Anthony is squirrely. Anthony, go sit over there for a little bit. Okay, Anthony, you can come back. No big deal. And they know you're not mad because you've already told them ahead of time. So there's no emotions involved. But the other thing I'll do is I'll compliment somebody who's near them. So there were a few times during this last rehearsal period where there was stuff going on. We were on the stage doing dress rehearsals and people were like, oh, and the temptation would be to be like, quiet, come on, quiet. No, I just went, oh, I've got to follow my own rules. John, I find anybody who is standing quietly, anyone. John, you are standing so quietly. Here, take a piece of candy from the candy bucket. Now, if they weren't listening, which is, a lot weren't, I would walk up to him, and they see him take it, everybody gets quiet.
Nice.
It works so well. Now, you have to find that one person, but it's similarly, like if these three girls are just swirling around, you just say, oh my gosh, you were sitting so great. Thank you for sitting so nicely, and you reward them. And then they immediately go up. They don't even know.